Hello everyone and welcome back to Budapest. This is the second day of me gallivanting around the city like a headless chicken trying to work out what's going on. So because I've got this 2-day bus tour ticket, I decided to carry on and see a bit more of the city. Right now I'm at this place called the New York Hotel, and inside it's got the New York Café. It's meant to be the most beautiful cafe in the world. I'm just going to have a quick look inside and see what it's like. Here is the claim, the most beautiful cafe in the world. Don't know how they quantify that exactly, but anyway. And it was built in 1894. So the interior of the cafe is really beautiful, very ornate, very decorative, and they've even got a violinist. I imagine the prices for coffees and cakes and stuff like that is really high, so I'm not actually going to do that. I'm not going to have coffee there. But it is a really beautiful building, amazing architecture. I'm now walking to the next spot that I want to visit. I did miss the bus, but it's only a 15-minute walk. So yeah, I'm going to the synagogue, the Doheny Synagogue, or the Grand Synagogue of Budapest. And yeah, I did go there yesterday, but it was closed because it was the Sabbath, the Saturday. So I'm hoping today it's going to be open. And I'm really excited to see this place because it's the biggest synagogue in the whole of Europe. So I think now we're in the Jewish quarter as we head towards the synagogue. So we've got a kosher supermarket here and got some writing in Hebrew, I think, on the wall here. Right, so actually I've had a quick read. This is a memorial for Jewish people who died in the Holocaust. So we've got writing in Hungarian, English and Hebrew. This wall serves as a memorial to the rich, vibrant Jewish life that once flourished on these streets. Since the middle of the 19th century, this neighborhood has been at the center of Jewish life in Budapest, home to numerous schools, synagogues, communal facilities and stores. And then as you go down, as you stand before this wall, pause for a moment and recite a prayer for these 10,000 victims, as well as the 600,000 Hungarian Jews who perished during the Holocaust. Wow. Okay, so that's a lot of people who died, and this wall is here to commemorate them, but also the Jewish culture. So the Jewish quarter is really interesting, really beautiful architecture, lots of coffee shops, cafes, bars. I'm back at the synagogue now, the Doheny Synagogue, or the Grand Synagogue of Budapest. So this garden used to be part of the Jewish ghetto in Budapest when they were persecuted during the Second World War. There was a reign of terror against them, and this garden is now a cemetery for over 2,000 people who died during that time, and some of the people were unidentifiable when they died, so some of them don't even have their names, you know, written on the stones. Yeah, so this is a really important place to commemorate these people. So I'm now in a small chapel just off the garden that I went into, the Memorial Garden, and this is a very tranquil place. Yeah, very quiet, very calm atmosphere. So the synagogue is really interesting. I've got my skull cap on now, which they give to all the male visitors who come here when they go inside. Behind me is a different type of memorial. So it's a tree in the shape of a weeping willow, and on each of the leaves they have the name of somebody who passed away who was from the Jewish community in Budapest. Interesting design for this memorial, kind of different to other ones that I've seen before. These are the names that you can just make out. They're relatively faint, but they are there. So this gives it extra meaning, having these names on the leaves. So this is a permanent exhibition all about the Budapest ghetto and the persecution of Jewish people in the Second World War in Budapest. It's really interesting. It just consists of posters telling the story of what happened. So I think this is the main entrance to the synagogue. So the synagogue has got this North African style in the interior as well. Looks quite Moorish. But in lots of ways it's also similar to a Catholic cathedral with these pews, the pulpit, the altar at the front. You can really feel all the history in this building, and yeah, the way that they've renovated it and maintained it is really beautiful.
Mindent betartunk, hangszereket nem lehet a zsinagógában elhelyezni, de ugyanakkor azért azt is képzeljük el 19. században, hogy mindenki tudta, hogy
So from here you can see just how big the synagogue is. It is enormous. This place is incredible. Very beautiful, very historic. Absolutely fascinating. There are some tour sort of guides that you can listen to in different languages. So I had a quick listen to one of those in English, which was really good. I think this is one of these must-visit places in Budapest. And this is the Jewish Museum, which is right in the same complex as the synagogue. And here you have lots of artifacts, historical pieces from the Jewish religion, like this Torah, some crowns, jewellery, books. So the synagogue was moving, poignant, beautiful, informative, and yeah, really incredible place to visit. I highly recommend it. It's probably the most interesting thing I've seen so far in Budapest. It's got a museum, exhibitions, a chapel, memorials, so yeah, there's absolutely loads to see. So I'm now at the Heroes Square. This square is at the end of Andrassy Avenue, which is one of the principal avenues in the city. This is a square that commemorates the 7 chieftains of the Hungarians, or the Maygars. So these 7 chieftains were leaders of their tribes that came together in the Hungarian basin and formed the Hungarian country, or the Hungarian society, back in 895. So all of these statues are commemorating those men who were head of their tribes. This is a significant place for Hungarian people to come to on days of national celebration and things like that. As you can see, on each side there are 7 of these chieftains depicted in the statues, and the same on the other side, and the same on the base of the column on their horses. So if you look a bit closer, you can actually see their names. This one's called Karoli Robert. So this is a really interesting spot. It's quite a touristy spot, but it's good if you want to see how the Hungarian people represent their history, their culture. It's sort of forced me again to learn a bit more about the history of this place. So that's a good thing. This building here is the Museum of Fine Art in Budapest. And it looks like they've got a Matisse exhibition on at the moment. I'm using my bus ticket to the full extent today to have another look at the Parliament building. It's incredibly beautiful, a Gothic design. So I found out that it was built in 1902, and since then it has remained the largest building in the whole of Hungary. And it houses the National Assembly and the National Parliament of Hungary. So yeah, it was worth coming back just to have a look at this again, because it is incredible. Just in front of the main viewing point for the Parliament building is this square called Bethaini Square. I'm not sure if I've pronounced that correctly, but yeah, this is a really beautiful square with a very ornate church and some cafes and benches. Oh yeah, and there's also a metro station there, which is quite useful if you want to get on the metro. And here is the Santa Anna Church. Really interesting design. So Hungary is a Catholic country. This will be a Roman Catholic church. We're just crossing the Margaret Bridge now, and you can see the Hungarian Parliament buildings from the side, and the River Danube.